Hi everyone, I'm in the presence of the artist Paul Moore, and he was so nice to share his photograph, Isolation C9119. Try to give to us all your point of view about this situation, your condition, your personal condition like artist, about this crisis. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, no, thank you, Valerie. It's very nice to talk to you. Yeah, I haven't really been sure what to think about the whole situation. It's just all this stuff sort of happening around us, and I don't really have any way to kind of like um, deal with it in some ways. I have been sort of thinking that it's been some kind of strange sort of fictional reality or something. It's not really, it's happening, but it's not really happening. I guess maybe I've been in a bit of denial about stuff and just really haven't been allowing myself to think about the small implications of of everything, down to even the fact about making work and like materials that we use and how people view and interact with work in spaces. Because you think about that, I think so much in your work when you're building exhibitions or when you're building stuff to present and show stuff that it's just sort of it's kind of a natural way to think, and I've just kind of kept sort of caught myself thinking about future exhibitions in the next coming year and work that you're thinking about doing and showing. Um, it's starting to realize that it's been talking about sort of sound work and doing this and thinking, well, people are happy enough now to maybe come in, touch headphones or put headphones and do this and share that type of equipment. Or really going back to like a sort of just a viewing relationship with work. You go and you just look at things that there's no kind of other kind of sort of tactile involvement in things. Yeah, I don't know. I guess what it just says, like I feel, just in a sort of a bit of an empty space. It's and I haven't really engaged with quite a lot of the problems, maybe outside of myself and my immediate family. I've been, in the ways of approaching making work, I think I've been thinking about sitting on the computer and learning stuff and playing with computer programs and making stuff that way and thinking, oh, you can make a lot of content and I can learn some skills. But there's sort of it's finding a focus for that. But then also just maybe sort of thinking about this time being able to enjoy just to play and not have a focus and evolve some random sort of skills. Yeah, it's just so weird, you just sort of I don't know even know if it's naivety, maybe it's just a wee bit of hope. You just sort of think like let's get back together, but and I'll get to do those things. But it made me realize how much I sort of enjoyed doing that. Whereas before
Yeah.
you started to kind of like not take it for granted, but kind of, sometimes you maybe get a wee bit angry, like, oh, I've got to go and do this, or I've got to go, and then you sort of realize you kind of like, well, that's a really amazing thing to be a part of and do that, and it's.
And I really loved the words that you use in our other chat. It was nothing time, because really it's something that is exactly representing this time, suspended time, where we are trying to do and something to stay alive in our profession, just to keep our mind sane during this month. It's important. Just your point of view, because I think you are doing well. I like your work and your practice, and especially now, I really appreciated your photograph that is representing a part of your life, especially now.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is important. I think it was a friend sent me a link to Nina Simone sort of saying about the the job of artist is to reflect the times which are not, that they're involved in. That's not the direct quote, like, but but it is quite poignant. You kind of, you know, it's difficult sometimes to sort of figure out what way to represent this, or what way to
Mm,
represent this from your view, or the way that you see it, or and to sort of know all the ins and outs. I've been kind of not really been watching the news. I've been kind of trying
mm,
to put myself in a wee bubble, I guess, and that's what I mean. It's like if I'm being naive, or if I'm kind of in some ways distance myself so I can, look at it from a different perspective. It's, uh, I think it's sort of the same with maybe the relationship, with my granny and my mum. There's like this kind of, all this stuff's going on with my mum, my granny, and my granny's in the situation, and my mum, it's really, affecting my mum. It's bad, but you can't. It's not that there's nothing much you can't do about it, but it's like, um, it's this other reality, and you have to kind of keep yourself um grounded to yours so that you can maybe help them later on.
mm.
You can't get too sucked into an awful lot of stuff, or else you just get lost. I don't know if that's right either. How does she follow this narrative? It's um, but yeah, just talking to her on the phone,
Yeah,
really, really strange. It's just this sort of this closeness, but this distance, and
yeah,
uh, and you just really sort of, I don't know, I guess looking at something through a screen, or again maybe through like a camera, you you observe it in different ways. You don't, you know, there is that kind of bit of protection, or there's that kind of like you're behind something, and it acts as a kind of a screen or a barrier, and
really like also the anagram that you use for the title for C9119.
yeah.
So the
So
year of your granny and the COVID-19.
yeah, like so taking the picture, because you'd be sort of posting things to Instagram and whatnot. So, I realizing it's sort of, a way to get sort of contact out there and talking to people. But yeah, so took the image just through the conversation. As I said, I don't know what prompted me. It was there. Took it, and I started thinking, I'd like to share this, or to say something about my granny, um, put it up online, and then I stopped. I thought, I don't know if I want to do this. Is it right for me to do this? It's just sort of like, um, put, because it's not a flattering image. It's not an image of my granny when she was younger, and then going, oh, this was my granny, blah blah blah.
Yeah, that
It's
is very common now on Facebook. I can see so many people that they are sharing images of their young mom or granny or whatever, and
yeah, yeah, it was just more sort of instantaneous, and I guess just the way that she was sort of, she's propped up with the pillows, and she's sitting there, and she's sort of looking out of the camera, and she's sort of talking to us, and then she's not looking at us, and then she sort of stop, and she's going to this wee shouting phase, and then she'd maybe come back, and she just sort of stare at you for a while, and like that's one of the most haunting things, because you don't know if she's looking at you or not. She's looking at
yeah,
the screen, or what she's doing. And then just through a series of different coincidences, I got the email from you, and my girlfriend had got in touch with my mum about the interview on BBC.
yeah,
Uh, uh, I think then listening to my mum talk about it again, it sort of brought um, that the reality of the situation back, and sort of maybe give me a bit of confidence to be able to sort of say, oh well, this does need to be, maybe, do you need to share, or do you need to sort of get that out, and that so then I sort of was able to contact you and sort of say, hey, how, is this something that,
yeah. It was like a good coincidence,
yeah,
and
right at that moment in time, so there was all
yeah,
that going on, and I think it was quite in the sort of like the high point of well, here anyway, where people were saying, "Oh, this is the high point. This is the 2 weeks. Everything was kind of a bit tense and a bit kind of like, ooh." Um, so, but it's just, again, I suppose, looking at my granny in there, it's just sort of not being really oblivious to what's going on around you, and sort of thinking about this and about this sort of kind of being this, like you're saying, this sort of nothing time where nothing's really happening. And it's this sort of
Yeah.
time where it's like you're existing, but you're not really existing. You just kind of, everybody stopped because the world around them stopped. The stuff that they can't do. It's they're just sitting in the house. They can't really do anything, and it's like, if we didn't have this technology, what would we do? Would we really tearing our hairs out if we couldn't watch TV or talk to people on an iPhone or do this? It's just sort of, it's strange. But yeah, I think it's kind of, it's so some reflections.
Mm.
And my granny, kind of, just thinking about the world being, isolated, sort of being really isolated from things around you, being sort of, but being isolated from your own head and your own functions and your own ability to be able to, you know.
But I think is probably this is nothing time, but at the same time, a time that we need to reappropriate. We need probably this time that is much more slow, and we have probably now that time to think again about our life. Probably now we don't need anymore that kind of sensationalism that usually newspaper or just news on TV they are using to just to inform people about this situation. Probably now we need something closer, like your photograph, like
Yeah.
this kind of communication, much more intimate, close to people, because I think now is important to have a sense of community. So I think your work and this one in particular, they are representing very well the time that we are living. I know your other works, your other installation, and they are all the time representing this situation. And I love just to mention now that for your performance, No Narnia, you use a wardrobe from
Yeah.
your granny. So this connection, it's with your granny, it's always there.
I guess with um, the wardrobe and things, it was interesting, sort of thinking about carrying the history of uh, your grandparents or the people that came before you. It's so you sort of feel you grow up in these places and everybody's talking about the past and you're rooted in this when you walk around. You know, Belfast or whatever, you've got all these, everybody's talking about the past and you carry that with you in ways. And is that what the sort of wardrobes where I was interested with the wardrobe in some ways because it was a really lovely old wardrobe. So there was two of them. My granny had one, my granddad had one. They always sat in the room and they just fitted so snugly into the wee alcove, and but they were like wooden, handmade, and they had all the good clothes and all the wee things in them. It was like sort of nowadays more you would get more sort of disposable wardrobes or like things from IKEA and people, it's just the way the sort of materials have changed, like clothes and things are a lot more disposable and aren't you know um aren't thought of as much. It's interesting that those things just come out. It's
Mm.
that you can't. I never thought much about it being my granny's wardrobe at the beginning. I was thinking,
Yeah.
well, what do people keep in the wardrobe? Just so funny about being sort of East Belfast. That's how the project started, was with getting people to photograph their wardrobes and put them up online to an Instagram feed, the hashtag no nonnier. Because which is really interesting, because people find that harder to post than pictures of themselves or selfies.
Mm.
And there's this sort of parallel, it's a selfie being a bit of a facade, whereas you photograph your wardrobe and it tells you so much truth, because you can't hide that. Whereas for
Yeah.
things for protection and looking after things, which like go to Sunday clothes to go to church, or work clothes, so that these uniforms that you put on and go to certain places, so it's not really the places to not keep your, like, maybe your real identity in, but like a false identity or something, it's a sort of but yeah, it's just sort of like interesting, and then thinking about that
Yeah.
anthropomorphically, well, I can't say the word, with the area around you, it's um, how you just sort of start to fit into that area, or um, you sometimes you sort of feel like maybe you just sort of take this, the, the way, you assume a certain character when you're in certain places, maybe,
Yeah.
I think that's maybe why tourists are so much fun to watch, because you just don't fit in. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
you know.
It's something that the wardrobe is revealing many identities that we are usually uh, just performing in a very natural way every day of our life. So I think it's also a metaphor of our life, of our everyday life.
Yeah.
I think you are a witness of your time. And now with the COVID, you are describing through that image that is very simple and immediate image, this situation, this problem, this condition of isolation, mental and physical isolation, in a very personal way that I really appreciated, and I wanted to thank you for having accepted my invite, and especially for having shared that image that I know that is so close to you.
No, I'm glad it happened the way it did. And it's I guess that's what made it's like uh I always feel maybe trying to force that, yeah, oh, I should be doing this or I should be doing that. But I think the more honest thing comes out sometimes when you don't do anything and you sort of let things happen. Um, um, and I think that's sometimes where your real personal work comes out, because you observe all these things over time, and they've got to come out in some way, it's so, I think that's what sort of, I think that's kind of what I do in my work, um, it's all, in some ways in my head, it's all old work, even though
Yeah.
it's now, it's, um, and I guess, that's, it's absolute process about putting things out there. It's kind of like cathartic, it's getting stuff, so like doing this, I sort of realized, it's, you know, it was nice to get that out and to express those feelings, and make that public and go, this is important to me.
People reacted very
Oh,
well, and I was happy to see this kind of reaction because I think it was important and necessary. Share that image, the right image for the right moment.
yeah. Yeah, like I don't think I'm really allowing myself to touch on the deeper implications and stuff on it in some
Yeah.
way. I kind of, but yeah, there is, it's, you kind of, you forget about the real, humanity of things, or whatever,
Mm.
we want to get about our lives, we want to get back to being busy and
Yeah.
doing, and again, it's a form of hiding, it's a form of kind of going, oh,
Yeah. So it's something that uh, that way to be busy all the time is really.
but it's like you've always got yourself as a presence,
Mm.
it's like, just maybe sort of talking to my granny there, and that it was making me realize that, she's not really there. You know,
Yeah.
it's she doesn't have herself for company. In
Yeah.
some way, it's like even like I would spend a lot of time alone. It's um, I would be doing lots of long runs, and I value them because I get time on my own, and you would get to like it's uh, even sitting in the house, or sitting in a studio on your own. You're on
Mm.
your got your own company, and you've got your own thoughts, and you've got your own things that you can make and think about, and
Yeah.
talking to somebody else. But there's
Yeah, for her it's different. For her, it's impossible just have this kind of thoughts about just like you are running a company, you are just doing just your artworks, you are
yeah,
thinking how to develop a project or do other things. So for her, it's different and it's difficult just to live all the time in this physical, mental isolation. And
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. No, it's it's tough.
your work was all the time just focused on these changings, the time, and you collected the stories, and you created this digital installation to engage the audience. And I think this is your just your point is it's a valid point to continue your practice and your research in the
Yeah.
same direction
Well,
with
yeah,
another now in your head. You have just to keep in your head that now there is something else,
yeah.
something different, like now the
Well, that's
COVID.
it's like it makes you realize, it's like your point of view is valid no matter what it is, whether you're um whatever you're doing, it's as long as you can reflect the times around you, or you can.
Yeah, I have just to thank you again for your time, for this nice conversation, and for your work. And I hope to see you in the reality when everything, probably in the next year, in the year one
Yeah, yeah. No, it's
after
really
COVID.
yeah. No, that's great. Yeah, so you too. Okay.
So thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Bye bye.